Hello and welcome to my deck profile of the Archangel Alestiel. The more I played this deck, the more I started to enjoy Alestiel, cause it's such a nice deck in my opinion. It got all cool mechanics and tricks you can do and stuff. And today I will show you my White Wings build to the Angels deck. I will probably do a black build deck some other time. I will try it out, I will test a bit of that. Alright, for the right line we are pretty standard. No new text, just the ordinary angel right line. It's just perfectly fine, nothing to splash here. Then of course 3 times the persona ride, just nice to persona ride, and of course with Eichel. Or is this Eichel? Yeah, the Eichel. Of course we play 4 of them. Just another grade 3 unit with 13k, and also a pretty good effect when it stays on the field, cause when you persona ride, or not even persona ride, in worst cases I even just could ride herself or anything on my Vanguard. Because this unit says when your Vanguard is placed on VC, so you don't need to persona ride especially, you can just ride anything on it. I wouldn't recommend it, but when you really need to do, and if you know it's your final turn, yeah, so you can do it. And also keep in mind, Alestiel's effect then doesn't go off, cause this effect is on beginning of main phase, and when you're riding that's at the right phase, so you won't get Alestiel's effect to recycle and buy another card. And for the last grade 3s we play 3 times Bibel. Yeah, just call her Bibel. Cause when you bind a trigger card, you can Soul Blast 1 and retire this unit to draw a card and push it up to 1 grade, so you have then White Wings. This is pretty good, and the draw is also really nice, cause you're then not wasting exactly a card, but the Soul Blast is sometimes pretty heavy, cause you will need a lot of soul, as you will see. And it's also just a 13k beater you can recycle, cause it got 8k power. Then the only black wing card we play are these 3. I played this at 4 and I'm still not sure if I wanna play 3, but I think I will stay at 3 for 95%, because there are times when you don't have a Bibel in hand or on the field, and then you can go to White Wings, and she helps to get to White Wings. And also if you resolved Eichel's skill, you can use her effect on the opponent's turn 2, so she's just safe. You can't attack her or target her with any kinds of effects. So she's just safe on the field and assures you next turn to be on White Wings again. Then we come to the heart of this deck. 4 times Rainbow Girl. Rainbow Girl is a very unique card. This card says for every 3 odd grades on the field, including Vanguard, general units, not just rear guards, you can give a rear guard 5k and a crit. So if you have a full board with all odd grades, you can give 2 targets, crit plus 5k for a counterblast, and you can also give it to herself. So when you persona ride, you can just put her beside. So here's the Vanguard, and give it to her. So she's 13k double crit and with persona 23 without the boost. And that's the magic of this deck. You just want to play this card resourcefully and not always wasting 2-3. The best way how to use that card is to pull up a full board and then playing her, not rather than just playing 3 odd grades and playing her. But I will go into that later. Then we come to a controversial card in my opinion right now. This is the Recycler. It says for Counterblast Soul Blast, you can choose a unit with 8000 power from your grave or drop zone and put it to hand, so the targets are pretty much the whole deck. I will show them real quick right now. Those are the targets you have, and the thing is, you just want to recycle her, or maybe her if you need another 8k boost front row, or 13k, sorry, gets 5k shield and 5k power when white wings. Yeah, you never want to recycle this, cause when you use her skill, you are already in white wings, and this is pretty much the same. So it's just to recycle her. So the cards I would play rather than the recycler are these two. These two are amazing cards, really amazing. And I'm thinking about cutting one of these recyclers and putting another one of these in, so I play 3-3. Because this card says it's a 5k booster, and while in white wings it gets additional 10k. So your deck revolves around just being always white wings, never something different. So this is a 15k booster, and with your 13k front row you have exactly 28, and with the 5k and a crit you have 33. So it's more than a 20k shield, so if you got a front trigger or something with the extra 5k shield. That's why this card is just amazing, and this card is like your finisher. When this unit boosts while you are in white wings, you can Soul Blast 2, and then you can choose a rear guard, even the attacking one. You can give it 5k for every other rear guard with odd grades. So if you got a full board, that's just 25k boost on top. Like, that's hilarious, fucking crazy. You can stack really high columns, but be sure you can only use this effect like up to 2 times, depending on how many times you press on the road, and use the black wing effect Shedal, depending on if you used her skill once or not. So this is a more resourceful card, played on the right time, so you don't get it retired. Next of the deck is pretty standard. It's 4 PGs, of course the angel ones, because these work better in white wing. The right, beautiful overtrigger like the playmat. I love it. Then of course, since we play the aggressive version, 8 crits, 3 draws and 4 heals. You could debate on playing fronts, but I like the draws cause you want your pieces in hand, cause you need a full board when you want to push, and at best times you always want to have a full board. Third turn, when your grade 3 Vanguard is here using Rainbow Girl, then on next turn using Rainbow Girl, and to assure you have the pieces in hand and the rear guard, I like to play the draws, cause I'm playing a more tempo build, not the full aggro. Like first turn everything out, I play more the every turn big beatdown, the next big beatdown, and then it should be done. And that's more like my playstyle. Alright, now we will come to the Mulligan Techniques. In this deck I usually do in deck profiles like a more combo guide at the end of the deck profile, but this time I will just show you playthrough to the grade 3 turn as an example. Since this deck doesn't got really the combos, you just need to splash everything out on the field and play Rainbow Girl. So I will just show you and explain how I mulligan first, and then we will go through. The only 2 things I don't mulligan back in, or I want to see in hand, is Bibble and Rainbow Girl, because this is your heart of the deck, and Bibble is like your safety card if you did bind grade 0, so you can put it up on grade 1, so it's white wings. All the other cards are just as important as the others, so I don't really mulligan much back in. I also like to keep a trigger in hand, not even mulligan back in if it's not a heal, cause you want to not take too much damage in the beginning, cause you have not that much of counterblast costs to pay. Like optimal way, you would just use her in the 3rd turn, and then it's 1 counterblast and you don't need more. So that's why I like to keep some shield in hand, because the early attacks are pretty cheap to guard and we don't need a counterblast in this deck. Now we will go through an example, testing, duel, how you wanna call it. Alright, don't forget to cut, because we are not stacking. And now let's say, let's just assume we started, because in this deck you really want to start. Let's go out from the better thing, so over trigger, everything out, okay, like I will just keep one trigger in hand, the PG and her, putting those two on bottom of the deck, drawing additional 2 cards, looks pretty good. We got Rainbow Girl and another shield, it's fine, totally fine. I'm gonna shuffle the deck real quick. Alright, then we say stand up your Vanguard, cause we are cringe. And then we draw our 6th card. We are first, so we don't draw additional card. In this point, I will just discard her, cause she's the weakest. We got 2 Rainbow Girls, that's pretty good. And using her skill, binding the top card. So we are in White Wings, which means that's the great effect. We can Soul Blast 1 card from the soul instead of discarding as we would road the grade 2. We say pass, he's gonna attack, we are shielding cause we don't need the damage. Then we draw another Rainbow Girl, that's pretty good, but now we need some front rows. Using her skills to Soul Blast and riding the grade 2. Her skill activates, the bound card goes to the bottom of the deck and we bind another card. So now we are in Black Wings, that's meh. Because we are gonna get this card in hand when we ride the grade 3, but we're gonna work with it. Then we would just swing at the opponent. He cannot call triggers from hand to guard since we are in Black Wing, so we would drive check, another grade 1. We can work with this, it's not a problem. He would take a damage probably or not, probably would. Then he's gonna attack us, we are gonna let it through, cause we only need 1 damage. Let's say we got this damage. Now we could guard the second attack if he wants to rush us or not, since we are gonna get this one to hand, and depending on if we get a black or white wing, we would need another counterblast with her. So let's assume we make the safe play. He's rushing us, we're getting another damage, critical, power to Vanguard, and then it's our turn. We draw, it's another grade 1, and this time we would also discard her and write Alestiel. Now Alestiel's effect puts this one to hand and lets us bind another card. Now we are in White Wings, that's great. We can work with that. In this case I would even call her, even if we are in White Wing, cause we don't need her that much. Calling this one here, Malibu, so she's now a 15k booster. Calling her here, using 1 counterblast and giving her another crit and 5k, so she's on 13, 28 double crit, so a 15k shield. It's like the magical numbers. And she's on 18 and she's on 8. Now you could debate if you want to play. Do you even want to play her at this point? It's just also a mistake. But you could and play aggressive, calling her here, give another critical here, but it's not. You don't get the value. You get my point? Because you would also only activate the first instance of the effect and you want to get as much as possible. So I would just call this card if I could get over a rear guard or something else, but otherwise just keep it in hand and do a simple 2 attack push. So we would attack, he would guard, crit power here. That's a grade 3, that's really good right now. And then attacking again, then he's coming at us, we are not shielding much, we're getting the Vanguard, he got the crit, so we're taking 2 damage. The over trigger happens, alright, we draw a card, and now he will clear our rear guard. And then it's our turn, we draw, And you see at this point we got a lot of hands, cause we don't use that much when you play it safe. And now you can go all out, calling a grade 3 here, grade 3 here. And what I like to do, and this is very stupid idea sometimes, but if you are sure, you can rush him. And in this deck it's very important to counter PGs of the enemy, because what you can do now is just call a PG here and then calling Rainbow Girl using the skill counter plus 1, it gets a crit 5k, gets a crit 5k, and then you can call over the PG right here and use the skill again, because then you have another time 3 odd grades on the field, or 2 times 3 odd grades on the field. And so you can put here another crit and another 5k, so she would be right now without a persona right on 23 plus 15, that's 38 and triple crit. And this would be on 13, 21, 31 also triple crit, and your Vanguard would be 18, 26 with double crit. At this point he needs to guard everything, cause he would probably die. Because if you got him on the 4 damage zone marker, that's a special damage marker in this deck with your opponent. If he got 4 damage or more, he needs to guard everything right now. Because this got triple crit, this got triple crit and a huge power, and you're just swinging, and any trigger right now just boosts another, just more power. The crits at this point are irrelevant when you are doing a play like this. Alright, I will not go further into the duel, because this was just a test match. I wanted to show you how I play this deck and what I prefer to do with my rear guards. And I hope you enjoyed this deck profile and also love this deck, because this is one of my, this is the favorite deck of all Lyrical Monasterios, because it's just crazy. Sadly we didn't drew the booster, the boosting 25k when boosting, because this would just get even more messier with this. Like, this was on 38, now imagine it's not 38 so, but 63k. A 63k lane right here with triple crit. That's, who needs Expector at this point? Let's be honest. That's it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it, and leave your opinions down in the comment section below, and tell me about your builds, what you did different on this deck, what do you like to play, more the white wing or black wing. I'm very interested in your opinions, and see you guys on Monday. Bye. Oh, Tuesday. It's Tuesday, not Monday. When you bind a critical Krieger,